Hey guys, Chris Story here. This is a final reveal of my 2021 AFL Fantasy team, so let's get started.
So this is what I've got for fantasy this year. So starting in defence, Jake Lloyd, Rory Laird, they're two safe selections, durable, high scorers. They should be top 3-4 defenders at minimum, I would have thought. From there, Jack Crisp, durable, doesn't miss a game, but he's also a premium scorer, so that's a pretty comfortable selection. And then from there, Doherty. So he's someone where I think he's gone around 110 in the past, so given he's had that sort of scoring upside in the past, there is some upside for growth there as well. A bit of a speculative pick, but he just sort of fit that price range that I was looking for, so... and with all these guys, those four, they've all got the opportunity to be sort of your top 6, if not very close to in the cases of Crisp and Doherty, so I'm pretty comfortable with those. And then for cash generation, I've got Jordan Clark and Hayden Young, so I think they'll both score well. They should be, I would have thought, certainly 70 plus, probably more like 80, I would have thought, so Young can take the kickouts, Jordan Clark will be getting a lot of ball, I'd be hoping, as he did against Essendon. So, there's some opportunities there. And then as rookies, I'm liking Highmore and Butts at this stage. So both can find the footy. Highmore, of course, he has to be selected round 1. So we're waiting on that at this point in time, at the time of speaking. But, if one of these guys isn't selected, maybe it brings a Kazitsky into the picture. I really don't want to have to pick him. He's going to be a sub-50 scorer, so... not all that interested. He's not going to generate enough cash, and that's why I haven't really started with any defense rookies on the field, just because I'm well aware that the points generation potential and that sort of, I guess, upside for price growth really isn't there from enough of them really to, I guess, make me feel compelled to put either of these guys on the field, honestly. But then going through the midfielders, I'm liking Zach Merritt as my M1. I think he'll be the top scoring mid this year. And then for some underpriced premiums, so Walsh, Taranto, Rowell. So Walsh and Taranto, they've both got the upside to be top 8 scoring midfielders this year. And if they're not, well, I think they'll come pretty close too. And then with the Matt Rowell, look, I don't think he'll be a top 8 scorer, but again, he's got that great upside for growth. He's well underpriced, so given the extent to which he's underpriced, well, I'm very comfortable selecting him, and then I can always flip him for ultimately a better premium. So from there, Dom Tyson, Willem Drew, for me, they're real cash generation options. They do have to be named, of course, for round 1, so there is some risk factor there, but assuming they're playing and they're playing through the midfield, well, they're going to really go up significantly in price, possibly even more than a Matt Rowell. So there's a lot of interest there for me with those guys. And then Tom Powell and Errol Goulden. So for me, just cheap rookies, but at the same time, they're still going to score well in their field options. So if you don't have them on your field, well, feel free to put them in there, because there's few options this year, and they're really the better 2 at this point, I'd be saying. And the only 2 that is, I guess, pure mids would be the guys I'd be starting on the field. And then from there is rookies. So James Jordan, Connor Downey. So if, say, an Eli Smith or someone else pops up as playing round 1, I'd get rid of a Jordan there. But that was sort of a last resort pick. And then Connor Downey, look, he's fine for fantasy. You can have him on your bench. I'd prefer not to have him on my field, though. So that's the thing there. But look, for specifically fantasy, Downey, you could possibly get by if you need him on your field. So bear that in mind. My rucks, I've gone Grundy, Flynn, Meek. And then I've also got Hunter down here. So having the 3 rookie rucks, look, that's all about cash generation. If I wanted a ruck that isn't rookie priced, I'd be probably going with Jared Witts, who is another of those sort of underpriced premiums. But just looking at the cash generation opportunities, look, even if Meek's gone after a few weeks, I could always move up to someone like a Jared Witts. So that would be my rough sort of strategy there. And obviously Max Gawn would be a great selection, but yeah, ultimately I just thought with sort of, I guess, all the rookies that I need in my team, well, I just didn't want to have more rookies with very minimal sort of cash generation opportunities. So given that, that's why I went with the rookie structure, and I think they're all sort of viable field options. It's just all about job security, which, at least in the case of Meek and Hunter, well, they won't necessarily be in there forever, but Flynn should hold his spot at least. So I feel pretty comfortable with that. There's always a Fullerton who I could always slip in there if absolutely need be as well, at that sort of same price point. So, but moving on to the forwards, Dunkley, Phillips, for me, they're the two keepers there. Phillips, underpriced premium, he can probably average 100 this year. So he's one specifically for fantasy I strongly recommend, and even for Supercoach you could consider him also. But I think good year ahead for Phillips, given he's getting those a few inside minutes, but he's also playing more wing, whereas last year he's playing half forward, looked lost. He looks great this year, so expect a big year from Phillips. And then for cash generation, Hind, Dow, Campbell, Scott. So they should all make money. Hind looked great during the Amy match against Geelong. So look, he should be all right. But he's probably the one where if I had to move someone for someone else, he's probably the one forward that I'd move on, just given his price point. But just with the way the team worked out, he was probably that last guy in for my team for those purposes. And on the bench, I like Warner, I like Rowe. They're both going to make money and both score pretty reasonably, and they'll do well given their bench options. So if you wanted, you could have a Warner on the field as well, possibly. But Rowe probably I'd more have as a bench, but he's a safe bench and he'll score well and generate you cash. So definitely have him also.
Thanks guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, take a look in the description, because I've included links to both my previous fantasy team from a week ago, where I cover every player that really I consider to be fantasy relevant and worth consideration for round 1 selection. And I've also created another video where I go through every rookie price player, so everyone Jamara price or less, and really talk about their relevance and scoring potential for AFL Fantasy. So make sure you check that out also, because it might help you in ruling out some of the rookies that you should really be avoiding, and it can also help you with who to field, who to bench. So you should enjoy that also. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell for future updates, and I'll see you in the next video.